Welcome back to the EAM Crypto channel. Thank you so much for watching. All right, guys, let's get right into it. For those that watched my last video, we had talked, and actually the title of that video was to watch out for the fact that BTC dominance was rising. And sure enough, since that last video 3 days ago, it's done nothing but that, right? So as we can see here, BTC dominance very much on the rise and very much headed to where I think would be a spot for it to kind of land at, which is 48.47%. Now, this could take a long time. We're looking at the daily chart, but once again, I just wanted to reiterate the fact that that's what I see happening. So what does that tell us? Well, when BTC is rising, well, we know two things. We know that A, BTC will outperform the alts, and B, that usually happens, not always, but that usually happens when things are not going so well for crypto, because BTC dumps at a lower percentage than the alts. But you know, it could be one of those weird things where the alts still do pretty well and BTC just outruns them. And we see this happen all the time. It's one of the many reasons why you should always have a decent bag of Bitcoin. And look, guys, if you have a decent moon bag, right, or a decent long-term hold, when I mean long-term, at least till what you think is the peak of the next bull market or longer, it's really important to avoid FOMO that you actually own a decent amount of the bigger coins, right? The orange coin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, some of the L1s, it just really helps you avoid FOMO. I wasn't in any big long trades. You guys know about Wi-Fi and a couple others, but I wasn't really like heavily invested in long trades. I'm actually down for the month because my biggest bets were shorting Gala, not once but twice, and I lost both times. So I'm actually down for the month as far as my trades, but I'm actually up because of my long-term bag. So having a decent fortified long-term hold really helps you avoid FOMO in times like this. And a lot of people are trying to get the last piece of this, what I think is a bull run within a bear run, or bear market, right? So we can talk about that a little bit. So BTC keeps going up, but before we talk about some of the other stuff, I did want to cover a couple things. Look, a lot of people think that TA is all about charts and graphs, but at the end of the day, TA does somehow incorporate market psychology into things. And when we think about what happened very recently with Genesis filing for bankruptcy, and the market didn't really care. It did not care. BTC just kept rising. All the alts kept following BTC and just killing it, absolutely killing it. We're going to look at some charts right now. So what does that tell you? The market mentality and the psychology of it right now is very bullish. It just is right now. This can change big time and it can change quickly. We're going to talk about what could cause it to change. But this to me was a big teller as far as how the market, with those that actually move the market, not so much guys like me in retail, but the market movers, they certainly are pretty damn bullish right now. And what happened with the price action after the news from Genesis came out really confirms that. Another example of it is this right here. Now, there's a number of different ways to look at what happened with Bitslotto. And by the way, if you didn't have any money in Bitslotto, hit a like on the button because you probably didn't have money in Bitslotto. It seems like no one did. But to me, this was huge. This was huge. A lot of people haven't really seen it this way. But look, guys, the language from the DOJ, and they had like 7 or 8 people go out there and give their little, speech as they were taking their victory lap. They talked about the fact that they want to protect the crypto ecosystem, protect the ecosystem. It came out more than once. So I thought that was very bullish for crypto, the fact that they talked about that. And then the third and final news item that we'll talk about before we get into the charts is this. This to me is a very interesting article. I am not for CBDCs. They scare the hell out of me. It's going to give governments another way to control us, which really scares me. But for Algorand lovers, and I don't know any Algorand right now. Maybe I should. I don't know. Maybe if we get another dip, it would be good. But I think that this, more than anything, this news about the National Australian Bank announcing that it will soon launch a new stablecoin backed by the Australian dollar on Ethereum and Algorand. Obviously great news for Ethereum, but even bigger news for Algorand. And think about this. Ethereum is not cheap. We all know that. Even with the CK rollups, Arbitrum, Optimism, and everything else, it's still going to be expensive. It just is. It's the most expensive real estate. It's like living in Manhattan, right? So look at Algorand. Algorand, I think, could benefit great from this because a lot of people are going to be like, oh, wow, Ethereum is so expensive. Well, let's go check out Algorand. And the fact that the Australian bank is doing this tells me that other countries, other banks will follow. So I thought that this was very bullish news for Algorand. and just something to keep in mind. So if you're a fan of Algorand, even more reason to be a fan of Algorand. If you're not, maybe you should look into it as a long-term hold. All right, so let's look at the charts. Let's talk about all that. All right, so with Bitcoin, a few things to know for sure. And the first one is this. I don't see a lot to break down right now. To me, it's very, very simple. And you know, this is what the daily. I think that we're headed towards up here about 24,485. Why do I think that? Well, for this reason right here. Back here in July, we tried to get to that level, not once, not twice, 3 times, failed right there. Then after taking a little dump, right, all the indicators reset, they kind of charged up again and made another try back here, almost same month really, / early August, and it just wasn't able to hold. It did kind of peak above what I have as far as the resistance line, but it wasn't able to hold on a close. So these were just daily wicks and then fell down pretty fast. It did it again, not 1, 2, 3, 4 times in mid-August. Look at all that right there. And again, it breached that resistance line, right? But the close is where I have the resistance line, which is 24,485. That's as high as it closed. So to me, that's where we're headed, and that's where we're going to find some major resistance. A lot of people are talking about 25K as far as resistance. Sure, it could wick to 25K on the daily, and wouldn't surprise me one bit. I mean, it already seemed to do it. Well, it got up to 25,072, so it wasn't even like it, you know, bounced off 25K even. So I'm sure a lot of short sellers, a lot of bears will have their will be selling around that point, but then, you know, I don't think that's really going to be the reason why it wakes up a little more. I don't think that'll be the reason. I think it's going to be somewhere around there, and then we'll see. And it's going to take more than one shot, in my opinion. I'll be very shocked if it just blows through that. So that's what I see as far as the biggest level of resistance. And look, guys, as long as we stay above right here, kind of like 19K, you got to stay, in my opinion, cautiously bullish. So right now I am bullish for sure. And there's really not that much more to say. I am definitely bullish. If we kind of draw it out, you know, let's just say that we kind of, you know, drop as low as 19K. Let's just say it happens. For me to stay bullish, I want to see it wick up right away, where all this action right here, they just buy it up. All these market participants that missed out on all this, they're like, here's our chance. And you just literally see it like go up on a straight line. That's what I'm expecting if we get down as low as 19K, and that would also help us close the gap, right? Because the gap, if I remember correctly, well, no, I mean, that would be a lot lower than that. So, but that's kind of like my worst case scenario, right? Is that we kind of get down. So, you know, we would for sure fill the gap and then kind of test this kind of level. And it doesn't have to be 19K. I think the exact number was like 18,981 or something like that. But at the end of the day, that would be a scenario that if we do get down that low, and I'm not so sure it'll happen. Actually, I don't think it'll happen. I think we're going to keep going up before that happens. But if that were to happen, that is my strong thesis. If we don't see a huge bounce up that holds and has some good volume to it when that happens, yeah, you definitely got to get bearish again, and you can even front run things. Because if we get below 19K again, I'm going to turn full bear again, and I'm going to unleash the shorts. But until then, cautiously bullish, and we'll see what happens. We can do this for a long time, and I'm still bullish. Now, if we hit 19K, bounce up hard, and after some sideways, we go and kind of test 19K again, I'm getting super bullish before it happens. I'm going to front run that. And if I take a small loss, I take a small loss, but I'm going to front run that one because I don't think we bounce twice from it. So that's kind of like where I see Bitcoin. Ethereum, also really simple, guys. Yes, on the daily, we're still overbought. But man, look, you guys, I've said it a million times. I think I used to use the example of the bus. Remember that the bus, the running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers, he just, once he got momentum, he just was unstoppable, right? And, you know, BTC and crypto is basically all momentum based. It always has been, it always will be. You guys have been with me for, you know, my whole time that I started a YouTube channel. I've probably called it a momentum based asset probably 30 times, right? I actually for a while I tried to stop saying it because I was saying it so often, but it is it is a momentum-based asset. So momentum is everything right now. Momentum's still on the side of the bulls for now in the short time frame. In the longer time frame, yes, the bears are still in control, but it really feels like right now market psychology says no, bears are not in control. So I see Ethereum, if it could hold these levels, gonna test this up here. It's kind of a wide range. I mean, I could have picked 1728, I could have picked 1737, but that's kind of like where I see the next major level of resistance for Ethereum. And if we can cross that, if we can cross 1730, then I think 2K, here we come. I really, really do. Or very, very close to it. I mean, there is a ton of resistance starting here at 1955 all the way up to about 2032. So we'll end up somewhere there if we can, if you see any kind of close above this range right here of 1727 to 1737, yeah, it's almost 2K. Here we go, maybe 1955 at the lowest. Yeah, that's where I see Ethereum going. Now, with Litecoin, we talked about in the last show 3 days ago. Hopefully this message was very clear and I didn't kind of mess it up in the communication, but I hope I made it very clear that $84 is kind of like everything to Litecoin. It's just so freaking important to Litecoin. And my phone never stopped, sorry about that. So 84 is it, and it was a little bit under 84. So what did I say 3 days ago during that video? I said, hey, it better reclaim it within the next 24 hours. If it doesn't, you got to go very, very, very bearish on Litecoin. Well, guess what it did? It reclaimed it within 24 hours. It barely closed over it, but it did. And then what happened the very next day? Boom, look at that. All the way up on that daily candle to 91. So again, we kind of nailed that one, didn't we? But I hope my message was clear that it needed to hold to basically reclaim $84, and if it does, clear skies. So I'm cautiously optimistic on Mr. Litecoin as long as we're above $84, and then yeah, it could very, very easily not only run up to the low $1 range, but really, guys, it could run up a lot higher than that. 107 would be no problem at all. And yeah, there's a lot of structure there, a lot of congestion there, but if you want to make a case for a lot higher, you could. Well, that might be a stretch, but maybe right there, 128, 125-ish. Yeah, you can make that argument. You really could. That it's just going to be a straight shot up there, and it's going to be happening very, very fast. So we'll see how that plays out. But other than that, I mean, we talked about the SPX. We talked about, that. Oh wow, I don't know where I'm at here. Oh, I'm on the weekly. We talked about SPX. We talked about. There we go. That's what I want to show you guys. And we talked about Dow Jones. But look, guys, I mean, this really surprised me. Once we rejected off this resistance line, I thought we would have to drop further and consolidate at much lower levels, hopefully just higher than right here, 3780, to make another test at this resistance. And boom, here we did it. Friday was very, very bullish. Tesla did really well, which I'm happy to see. I waited for months to secure a very, very decent spot. I mean, I went in pretty big with Tesla at 150. And I think Tesla finished out the day, I think like 132 or something like that. I can't remember. So I'm a lot closer to break even now with Tesla than I was about a week ago. But yeah, I mean, everything just kind of pumped. So I cannot wait to see what happens Monday. Cannot wait to see, are we going to finally get over this trend line and hold? That would be very, very exciting. This chart doesn't really tell us that, if this chart at all does what the SPX is going to do. And the rest of the traditional markets, this is not good. I mean, I just feel like we've already kind of confirmed a double top, but maybe we need a little bit more confirmation. So let's see what happens in this next run. But if after these next few candles and next week, this double top is still reconfirmed, then it's really hard to be bullish. So we'll see what happens there. Maybe not. Maybe I called this a double top a little too early. Hopefully, I'm hoping that's the case. And then I mentioned Gala earlier. I got my, handed to me earlier this month, trying to short this crazy run all the way down here from what? 1.5 cents. It pretty much, what, 4x? It almost 4x. You know, so just think about that. It's a bunch of guys probably put in like 1K at, I don't know, 10x leverage. Their 10K almost did a 4x, so their 1K turned into like almost 40K. Yeah, 40x their money. 1K into almost 40K and what? And some of them even done higher leverage, but this is what January 1st all the way up here. It did double top there, guys. This is starting. This better gain momentum quick, or it's gonna be done for. Yep. It took 2 weeks. 2 weeks to make 40K off a 1K bet if you 10x it. So that's just the power of leverage. By the way, I have an affiliate link for Bitget. Fantastic way to support me, support my channel. If you do your trading through my link, we're doing a very cool giveaway at the end of the month of $100 to anyone that has funds in their account that got in through my link. And I do all my shorting, all my leverage trading on Bitget. They have proof of reserves and plenty of options. So definitely feel free to check out the link below. Great way to support my channel. It really, really is. Let's see what else. Solana, guys, I don't know. I mean, this is such a hard asset, such a tough asset to chart. It's just got so much crazy momentum. Of course, this turned out to be the level of support right here around 25 off these lows right here. What, back in June? Yeah, back in June. But I mean, it feels like it still has more room to grow. I mean, it really, really does. And BTC keeps pumping. It would not shock me at all. Yeah, it's not as overbought. That RSI looks interesting. Look at that, guys. Lower RSI, higher price. Man, sellers are starting to get tired. I mean, buyers are starting to get tired. Buyers are starting to get tired. Interesting. We better keep a close eye on this. But it could somehow gain some more momentum, get some more market participants. BTC keeps pumping. Then, yeah, $48 Solana. Here we go. See you at 48. But I don't know, guys. This right here tells me that the buyers are definitely getting tired. Let's just randomly pick another alt. See if that's happening. Well, here, let's pick the alt of alts. Let's pick Ethereum, which I hate calling it an alt anymore anyways. Still looking, wow. Sellers could gain control. Buyers are starting to get a little tired, guys. Buyers are definitely starting to get a little tired. Do see some, I mean, there's still plenty of bullishness here, right? There really is. I mean, clearly still, I mean, look at that. I mean, right? And then match it up with the price. Barely. Pretty interesting, guys. But I am starting to get a little bit of vibe that buyers are starting to get a little tired. So maybe we'll just see things kind of go sideways for a bit. We'll need some consolidation for sure. And then maybe Ethereum can make a run. But, you know, I don't know. We'll see. But starting to see a little weakness there. I actually didn't notice this before the video, but I didn't really look at charts today. So I'm doing this with you guys for the first time. So other than that, don't forget, guys, we have that BTC CME futures gap. Just can't ignore these things. Most of them get filled at some time, right? I think the hit rate is over 90%, maybe even closer to something higher. So yeah, guys, don't be surprised if at some point sooner rather than later we need to fill that gap. But I'm still thinking BTC goes up. Like I said, I'm going to stay cautiously optimistic as long as we stay in these levels right here, right? So I'm actually feeling like this is not bad. And, you know, I think the rest of the market would just love it if BTC hit 19K, but we'll see what happens. All right, guys, thanks for watching.